Well, good day, good day. Welcome to Kira and Devon, Marissa. You're all coming today. We're talking, the topic is marriage. A little bit my story and Prema. We appreciate you tuning in today. And so today it's Friday, and a good Friday. Want to make sure I'm in touch with everybody who logged on. Amen. Ayan, Nima, welcome. Dianand, we welcome you from New York. So we really appreciate those of you that are locked in. Valine, Marcus, Budai, working from home. So we, Marissa and 7 others as a group. Radhika Basdev Singh, we do welcome you. So I'm looking at all those who are on with us today. Diana Paul. You see, I'm sitting down. Brian, Chris Davis, and Sean by my feet. After music, before I got married, music was my love. And so I used to sit down until 2, 3 in the morning and play music and practice. And this, whatever you have a passion for and a love for and a gifting or talent for, that's where you will be driven. And I never thought anything would ever come and take the place of music. I used to play guitar those days, a little bit of keyboard, and I remember telling myself, I said, when I get married, my wife have to know that music comes first. But then the whole thing changed after we got married. You realize marriage is something special, and so music came second. God always first. He's number one. But a marriage on earth is now become, for the past 41 years, my priority with my family. And then, of course, my music was ministry. My ministry, which music is part of it. And so, Mikhail, I'm glad you're looking, because today we want to talk about marriage. And so you think about marriage could be misery or it could be happiness. You get into it for the right reason, but every wrong thing happens. What you see you wanted and what you're getting out of it is two different things. And so that we need to understand this. When you're getting into a marital relationship, you have to come the course, seek the wisdom of the counselors, ask 1,001 questions. Let me just say this, you need to ask more questions before you're married than after. Because marriage before, you put blinders. There's something some people refuse to see. And no matter how much people saying to you, drawing to your attention certain things. Oh no, you are correct. No, that boy, that girl is better than that. No, you don't really know them. Everybody know them, but you think you know the person. See me, live with me is two different things. I am so thankful that when I got married, I got more than I bargained for. You know, some people got less in the deal. Andy Phillip, great having you, Dr. Andy. I trust you and the youths in your church are having a glorious time. And Andy, a young man, I don't know if you're married. I think so. Asha told me you're married. My marriage is such a joy and a happiness to have Cheryl Robinson. See you logged on. He's Usami. Rhonda Ramsaran. So you all are joining in, and that's good. I want to begin in a little bit talk about my marriage experience. First, before I got married, I had to make sure that I love the Lord more than anything. A wife must never come before God, because He is God who gave you a spouse to be happy. And so I know you're looking on for Rudy to be on the program, and some of you have not been seeing her for the past week, and saying maybe I put a ban on her and not have her share. No, let me be honest with you, when Rudy share, the ratings go up. So actually we have more people logged on when she's sharing, and that's a plus to me because after 40 years with her, I say everybody that I'm working with must be better than me. Even the speakers in church, the musicians in church, the singers in church, they must all excel to be better than the person that that is over them. So other than she has that talent from a dad who is a pastor. So I didn't put a ban. She had what you call a viral infection. On Saturday she noticed that and did go to the doctor and had all the blood works done, and she's under treatment now for that viral infection. And so keep her in prayer that a speedy recovery will take place, and as soon as that happens, that's the first voice you will hear on this live stream. So I'm really praying that God will just touch her body and give her strength and give her healing from the effect of that viral infection. So she's in faith, praying and taking the necessary treatment that is required, and we trust in God to do His part. So you have not seen her this week. She was supposed to join me today, and unfortunately she can't. But just remember her in prayer. So today I want to say first, in a relationship, marriage cannot take the place of God. You must not love your spouse more than you love God. Your spouse is somebody that brings joy, and let me say this, when you have a good marriage, it's like the ultimate deal. It's like you see, after God created Adam and Eve, the next thing He did, He gave him a spouse, knowing that there was an assignment for work to be done on earth. So He had to replenish, He had to take care of God's creation, and in having to take care of that, let me just say this, unless you have the gift of singleness to be happy and single, singleness is a lonely life. But most young people are afraid because of what they're seeing outside here. In terms of marriage, the statistical data, it is saying now in the world out there, 7 out of 10 marriages and up to 8 out of 10 marriages that are taking place are unhappy, miserable. The ratio is 6 to 7% are ending up in divorce. And so all these bad reports people see now, they bring a fear in their heart. And so one need to understand that not because 7 out of 10, 6 to 7 out of 10 ending up in divorce, and 8 to 9 out of 10 are unhappy, but some of the other 2% living for the children's sake and for the family's sake, but they are happy. And but you could be that 1 or 2%, like myself and Rudy, that are very, very happy in our marriage. It ought to bring joy, it ought to bring laughter. You must not want to run away from home, but you must want to come home. You must look forward for conversation. And if you and your partner, it's amazing, I see couples in terms of counseling them. They're on the phone 24/7, they're going to bed, honey, and they're girl, you all right, any last words? And they're talking till 2, 3 in the morning in love, and when they get together, there's so much to say. But from the time they get married, it seems like the silent treatments that take place. As the days and the months and the years go by, there's less and less to talk about, less and less the interest is there. So the television takes the place, the recreation and the hobby takes the place. And all these things now where it grabs your attention and you feel comfortable. But remember this, a marriage is an agreement and a partner that you must know that you have to live with for the rest of your life, and conversation is important. And so, but never love that the person more than you love God. There's a whole song that I used to sing. I'm gonna try to play it. I'm in church. This is the church piano in my office. Let me get up my chair a little bit. I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord, today, because you cared for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you, and I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. I love you, I love you, I love you, Lord, today, because you cared for me way back on Calvary. That's why I praise you, and I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Now, when I will say it, some people just sing to their spouses in church. I love you, I love you, I love you, Lord, today, because you marry me way back yesterday. That's why I praise you. Listen for me. I lift your name and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. I sing this for Rudy now. I love you, I love you, I love you, Lord, today, because you cared for me since yesterday. That's why I marry you, and I live with you. I'll be all the way. That's why my heart is filled with praise. I love you to the Lord now. I love you. I love you, Lord, today, because you died for me way back on Calvary. That's why I praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. That's why my heart is filled with praise. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Now, I remember I told you before, when I got married, I used to sing to Rudy every night. Now I would sit down downstairs home, play the piano, and she would just sit and listen, and I would sing. I don't know about you, but I am her hero, and she knows that. She's looking on live stream now, so just as how she's my hero, I am her hero. And so that marriage would have bonded us. There's some things I want to give you my marriage story. It's a laugh. It's it's funny, but it's something it worth listening. But before I share my little story about how I married, how I got in terms of marrying Rudy, when you're looking at marriage, when I counsel couples, I ask them to write down 10 things that they like about the person they're going to get married to. And I say to write it down. Why are you married that person? These 10 things that you see that really attracted you, and these things could bond you, and you would live with that person for the rest of your life. And it's amazing. The women always have about 100 things they could write, because they write and they just say to me, Pastor, have another page I could get. But the guys, they come up with 5 and they're struggling to get 6, and I have to find things. Some of them is a shame. I had to say, in fact, because the spouse coming from church, I had to identify, help them to come up with some things that they're going to marry that person. For fellas really let me down in terms of finding 10 things that they love the woman that they're going to get married to. And I guess that's the exciting part about the counseling. Then the other part, I said 5 things that you don't like but you want to see change. Well, I tell you, the fellas come up with that 5 really quick, and the guys normally will say, is there another page I could write more? So the guys always they can't find 10 things that they love about this woman they're going to get married to. And 5 things that they're concerned, that they don't like, they want to see change. They could get 100. But the ladies normally don't come up with much. Most of the counseling, they come up 3, 4, and they struggle to come up with 5. And when I ask why you're not looking at this, say, something, I love that person for who he is and not all these faults and mistakes. And maybe some of them say, Pastor, the things that I don't like, it will work out. It will work out. Only to realize when they get married, not they're working out. These things that you didn't like increase in number, and you start in the marriage. And let me just say, when they sit down to talk, and I say, because when you get older in life, when you get married a little older, in fact, when Rudy was 19 and I was 21, we got married. I didn't know her so much. I'll give you that story. I saw her, the first day I saw her, I went and tell my mother, I said, I saw my wife. And so I'll continue that story. I didn't have time to write down 10. I didn't know anything about the 10 good things and the 5 things to change. And but most of the couples, when they sit in the office and we start to talk with his own and then her own, one by one, the 5 things that they don't like, they want to change is where that challenge is. So a lot of them end up quarreling. Well, he will say, I didn't know you find that fault in me. I didn't know you didn't like this in me. But when you get married older in life, you realize there are some things you just can't change. You have to live with and trust God for change, or really a good environment that can enhance that change. Change for a person older takes place on a longer period of time with more willingness, commitment, and dedication to wanting to do it. And so a lot of the quarreling take place related to the 5 things they don't like and they want to change. And then what I do, other than that, we talk about the communication assessment, we talk about the financial part of it, how you're compatible financially, we talk about the sexual part of it, we talk about the relational part of it. And so there is about 8 chapters that you go through. And I have this, if you're past that first 2 chapters, you're good enough to continue the counseling. And a lot of the counselors, what counselees, when they come in after the first 2 sessions, they're fighting, they're arguing, they're breaking up. Because I raise this issue that they need to raise now before they get married. So when they get married, they wouldn't have to worry about this. It must be a walk in the park in a relationship, because we would have dealt with all the issues. And so change younger, because I was really young and I was being molded as a father, as a husband, as a man, or launching into my career and my ministry in a big way. It means that the partner in my life will be able to help me to become who I need to become. Because hear this in marriage, God always call the partner helpmeet, whether the woman or the man. That person is a help to your life. So any person marrying somebody and don't want to take their advice, I question that. Because your spouse has to be a check and balance in your life. Your spouse must be someone who could correct you. Your spouse must be someone who could add value to your life. Well, the truth about it, you don't know everything. And you marry somebody who knows another side of career and life and experience that you don't know. And when you bring the 2 together, it expands your ability and your knowledge in terms of relationship and life and what it is all about. So that is important in getting married, that you deal with these things you don't like. But what I also do, I do an assimilation dating process. And so after the first 2 sessions, I said, I'm going to give you things that you have to talk on. This is what this week and next week you will, when you go out, you'll talk about. These are some of the things that you will address. And I have them what you do in a 1 year, 5 year, and 25 year micro and macro plan, because every couple need not to be shocked while they're moving on with life, what is happening, or just go kiss Sarah, whatever would be. But they must be able to have a vision for their life that has a financial part, a family part, an emotional part, and so that they would sit down, both of them, and plan the future together. And so, but what I will assimilate in the dating, things that I know that they will argue and fight and will affect their marriage. And do you know that most of the times when they assimilate that dating process, talking and engaging certain discussion that is critical, things like how do you deal with the in-laws, things like how you manage finances, things about your mannerism and your ways, things about yourself that you don't like. Maybe you have a good look but you're a poor dresser, and so there's some things about you that the wife want to change. And let me say this, when your wife doing a makeover on you, like Rodi has to, and I have to agree on her, and she have to agree most of the times what you wear and how you look, because it is to please them but to please me, and each party is to bring happiness to each other's life. And a lot of times they're arguing and quarreling. Concerning the health factor, a lot of people don't do what you call a tracking of the generational sickness, where the mother sick with, where the father sick with. And so when you get older in life, you realize the party has health challenge. You're prepared long before to address these health challenges. So there are many things that one need to address in that relationship before getting married. And so when you get into the marriage, you're not shocked about what you're seeing. And so these are some of the things that couples need to look at. But let me just say this, in moving forward in your relationship, keep focusing on the things you like and build on that. Find more things that you like about that person, and help that person to develop more things that he or she would like and you would like. Do things that both of you would like, and not focus so much on the negative part, because once someone will have a little tea time and you bring up a little bit about, girl, you such and such, and I feel we could change it. Don't say you should change it, say we should change it. And but focus on the better things in life that you're enjoying. Talk about the good things. And sometimes when you want to encourage yourself, this is what I do. First, I start encouraging myself, and Lord, I thank you, because Lord, you did this for me yesterday, you did that for me the day before, and many years ago. This is what you have done. Heal, you touch, you bless. And so we keep reminding ourselves of the goodness of God, so that we could continue to depend and rely on His goodness, and your thanksgiving now determines on your next level of blessing. The same way with your spouse, you must be able to keep telling them, girl, this is what you did for me in my life, that where I am, and keep complimenting and commending that person. The truth about it, ladies, you could plug your ears for this. Don't hear this one. Only the guys listening. Guys, ladies love compliments. You want to get her to do anything for you? Start complimenting her, and not fooling her. Tell her the truth. Good compliments. And so these are some of the things that one need to look at in their relationship to enhance it. Find things that you love doing in common, because a lot of people, when they get married, they're doing less and less things together. When they were dating, they're like two pieces of paper glued together that they can't be separated. When they get married, that glue like it's separate. He go and line his way, she lines her way. He have his friends, she have her friends. What me and Rodi do, we have friends that both of us have in common. And so most of our friends, when we go, we could go and line together. We hardly will go by a family member to line if we are not comfortable together. If she's uncomfortable by a friend or a family member, I will go, we'll spend 2 minutes, but we run away. The people you value is the people you'll spend time with. And so it's good that you create these opportunities to spend time together. Rodi like to go down by the beach and sit down. That's a fun thing. She like to get up early in the morning We don't plan it. We just get up, pack a bag. We're going early to Las Cuevas. When we get to Las Cuevas, we will sit down and watch the sunrise. And then we will go and bathe, and then we'll sit down and check the waves. And she like looking at people and looking at things, and we look, and then after sitting for a few hours, we say we go down to Maracas. Richard's Bacon Shack is our best. We know him through by for all our guests. And we go down to Maracas and we'll have Bacon Shack. When we don't eat our Bacon Shack, after we change, we ready, then we'll drive to Port of Spain for a little drive, and then go to Movie Town, and then we'll watch a movie. Most times we watch 2 movies. She loves a lot of romance. I like romance with little fun and activity. So I will sit down and watch the romance with her. And then I say, after this, we will watch a little action. A picture with a little bit of love. It must have a female in the picture. A little bit of love and action. When we come out of there, then we sit down, we walk around, sit down, have a tea, something, a snack, and then we come on. But all through that time, we talking, we laughing, we having fun. What is happening? We doing things we like. And let me just say this, don't get so bogged down on your marriage and tied down with the marriage that and the responsibility to the relationship, or have children. Let somebody watch these children and go out sometime by yourself. And don't allow the job, don't allow the need for all these things, because the crisis is such that people have to work overtime, late hours, and don't even have time for their spouse. But you need to know how to do time scheduling. So like a Saturday, you say, Pastor, we have all this work that we didn't do all week. Saturday is the day for we have to do housework. And we already shared it in our last program. No, leave the housework. In fact, train all the children well. Leave them to do somebody's work and take up yourself and go and enjoy the day. Of course, Sunday is your Lord's Day. And every day during the week, you do a little bit, he do a little bit, you do a little bit. If both parties share the responsibility in the home, the load become lighter and the wife become happier. Let me just say, when both parties share the responsibility in the home, the load become lighter and the wife become happier. It's amazing how men want the wife to love them in the night and tire them all day with housework. And then when he didn't get no hug up and love, he's angry the next morning. No, help with the responsibility. And I know Valene is saying yes to this, and she's going to get Brian up now and say, Brian, listen, this is exciting. Now, I can pick on Valene because she's like a little spiritual daughter in the house. She don't get vexed for anything I say, and I thank God for that. So these are some of the things in the relationship. Find good couples with healthy relationship and sit down and talk with them. You know, sometimes they can, you can get indirect counseling, and while talking about general situation, they will raise things that how it worked in their life and what they did, and you could learn from that. Read good books. And if you go to a church that push marriage and relationship. Go to a church that is interested in your family. It have some ministry, the pastor only interested in the person who involved that because they're involved helping him or helping the church do something. But at Redemption Worship Center, the person who is involved, maybe the husband is primarily in the front line and the wife is there in the back just helping give him support. But we appreciate that person. We make sure to let him know that your spouse is important and she is also special as you are. So marriage must be a primary and a priority in that church. Family life must be important. What is happening to your children? So these are some of the things that one must look in a relationship. And I want to go through the one or talk a little bit about my marriage. You heard Rody part. I always knew that I wanted to get married really young. From a young man, I knew that I was 16, 17. I said, I don't want to get old and get married. I want to get married when I was young. And then I looked at the situation as it is, and I say, how can I get married? I need to be young when I need to get a job, have a good job that is stable, that can take care of a wife. I need to provide a car that I could go out. I need to provide a home that we could live. I need to provide security in the family. And then I started to change my tune. I say, maybe 25 or maybe 30, I will get married. And then as I grew a little older, 19, 20 years old, and was involved in ministry in a big way, I thought to myself, I had I had 4 brothers, and we all hung out together, and I had a very few friends, but we would go and hang out, and we were happy as friends. But when you get a little older, you realize you need a companion. And so I said to myself, I said, Lord, if I choose a wife, I think I could choose good and I could also choose bad. But the thing about choosing a wife, Lord, is that I wouldn't know a lot of things about that young lady that you will know. The Bible said He know the amount of grain, the hair, calculated how much drop off every day when I comb my hair. God knows how much gray I have and how much white. If He didn't know that, He isn't God, and He said so. So I said, Lord, I need a spouse, but I need you to help me to find that spouse. That's so different from today's generation, because most of the younger generation today, they're looking for a spouse without God's involvement. And when they do find that spouse that they like, based on their judgment, they come by me for counseling for marriage. And when I start to do the critical analysis and the compatibility assessment, and I start giving them the written up report, these are the red flags, and these are the yellow flags, and these are the green flags. You have 2 green flags, 5 yellow, and 10 red. And because an intellectual society now trusts their ability to choose. They trust their ability to choose their job. They feel they're smarter than anybody else. They like their own, they work with their own psychology. So they try to figure out people. They do their own investigation to find out little they do in terms of investigative. And so they do find a party. When they find that person, and then on top of that, I say to them, if you know that party after 3-4 times, you'll go out with that person 3-4. Listen to me, I sound crazy, right? After you know that person for 3-4 times, I say, come to me. If you're thinking that I want to get steady with that person to get to know them more, come to do an assessment. You can do an assessment by yourself without that person. Of course, if you're going to continue to date that person, you must be transparent. You say, listen, say to that young man or that young lady, listen, we've gone out 3-4 times, but I find you a very interesting person, and I would like us to really pursue this as a friendship to carry it somewhere. And so if that person is from the same church, they would be open enough to do that assessment on the relationship. Why, say, Pastor, why am I doing this assessment? You're doing this assessment so that you wouldn't wait for dating 2 years. I know people date for 8 years and 10 years and then realize they couldn't live together. Come on, man. That is ridiculous. You're too smart and intelligent as a person to do such a dumb thing. 10 years and you drop the woman? It's easy for the man because these young girls like older fellas. But when the young girl get older, that it becomes harder for her, because a young lady in a relationship that doesn't work pick up a lot of emotional baggages and trouble. So the more dating you have as a young lady, and guys too, and the more negative you pick up when you do marry somebody, you have a ton load of garbage that you're bringing into this, because the unrealistic expectation and the judgment on that person and what that person will get out of that relationship is more than what you're willing to give. So that is why I say to the people, do the critical assessment and the critical analysis and the compatibility assessment. Let me tell you why I say do it after 3-4 times a dating, so that you will know the strengths and the weakness in that person. You will know what to talk and what to look for. And so after 6 months, at least you could know this thing doesn't have a future. Listen, we will stay friends, but I want to be open. And so some people, because most time is the woman, most time is the woman who would say after dating long, I want to get married, but the fella saying, I'm waiting still, I'm waiting, I ain't ready. And let's leave flimsy excuse these fellas just give me. They say, I had to save enough money for a big wedding. That girl when she said no big wedding, she want a ring on her finger and an assurance that you will live with me for the rest of your life. And they use that old theory, I want to buy an expensive ring and have a big wedding just to prolong you until he decided he's comfortable. So I want to say this, that you don't need to date 100 partners before you find the right partner. I am saying, yes, you can have 100 good friends, open relationship friends, and then allow the Lord to guide you. So that is that part of the counsel. Let me go back to my story now. And so I thought to myself, Lord, if you help me with a spouse, find a spouse, I wouldn't have stress in my relationship. I'll be able to do ministry because that person must be a blessing to me. That person must be a good mother, a good housekeeper, love children, love a husband, value ministry. There were 13 things I shared before that I had written on a paper that woman must fulfill these criteria before she could enter the gate with Thanksgiving. And of course, Rudy had 11 of these qualities. 2 she didn't have. She couldn't play the piano, she couldn't sing. Of course, her name was Sing, last name was Sing. But so one day, after I keep looking and I say, Lord, whoever that wife is going to be, you need to bring that person and let me see them. And one day I was going to the gas station to fill up the car with gas because guys say that there's a new girl in town, in La Romaine down there. We all knew all the girls in the area. We were friends. Everybody grew up like family. We grew up in a community where everybody was family. We helped cook for each other. We there for each other. It's like a big community and neighbors. So I went across there and I just looked at her inside of this place where the glass chamber is, where she would be with the desk, and she was the collector of money for her brother's gas station. His brother had people that was robbing him, and he asked her to come and help with the finances to see what is happening. So she came down there at 19 years. And eventually, when I looked at her, something said to me in my spirit, Keith, that is your wife. I said, that is my wife. Okay, I trust that inner voice because I know, I'm sure it wasn't the devil. My prayer life was as such because we did a lot of fasting and praying in terms of going out for crusades and things. So I knew God, I knew the voice of God. And when I just looked at her, and I didn't see anything to fill the gas up with gas. I went home and I told my mother and my sister-in-law, my brother who just got married a few months just before. And I said, I just saw my wife. My mother and my sister-in-law, I was crazy. You just see your wife, Keith. You just go on down by the gas station, fill the car with gas, watch this person, and then come back and say, that is going to be your wife. And same time, I told my sister-in-law to walk down, I think it was a day after or 2 days after, to walk down and look and let me hear your opinion. But by that time, the next day after saying to my mother that I saw my wife, not knowing, and Rodi gave a story last week, that the gas station manager was saying, when a lot of guys, she has always been a beautiful person. I will post the picture up when she was, after this, I'll post up the picture when she was 19, when she was 16 and when she was 19. So look for it on the post after and you'll see. So it wasn't just for her looks. Of course, she has always been beautiful, but it was something about the presence of God that radiated from heaven to me and was radiating out of her life. And she said to the gas station owner, the gas station manager, the only person I will entertain is a man who loved the Lord with integrity and character. And so it was the next day or 2 days, I think I went back to full gas again. And when I drove in, of course, I wasn't the kind of person to make any quick, I knew how to talk, but I was a little shy to propose any question. And so eventually, what happened? The gas station manager saw me coming in and he pointed myself to her and he said, Rodi, you see that guy who come in there and fill in that car? It wouldn't come better than that. And when somebody could vow for you like that, from manager of the gas station said, that is the best you can find. If you want integrity, if you want character, if you want somebody who loves God, that is the best it comes. And of course, Rodi Rodi knew because God was speaking to her also that I was going to be her husband. So imagine 2 days into seeing each other. Both of us, she didn't know I was entertaining that will be my wife. And I didn't know that she was entertaining that I will be her husband. But bear in mind, listen to this carefully. She was always been a good looking girl, so it's not desperation. She looking to grab anybody around the corner. I looking to grab. But when you see the person that you know God is leading you to, you will start to make a move. And she made the first move. She laughing now, I sure that. She made the first move because the move was, she told the manager of the gas station, although they're selling snacks in the gas station, she didn't want any snack from the gas station. But she told the manager, she gave me, I think it's $1 to buy a pack of red skin nuts for her. Sorry. A pack of red skin nuts for her. And I was so shocked. It wasn't shameless, it was shock. I took the $1. I know, remember, I'm in business, and money was no problem. I take that $1 from that young little girl, went and buy the red skin nuts, bring it back for her, and hand her 50-cent change. Was 70. I bought 2 packs, 25 cents, I believe was a pack. I felt so embarrassed after that. And so the next day, my sister-in-law walked to the gas station and went to the gas station and said to her, Rodi, Keith have been talking about you, and I just come to say hello. You're new in town, and I just want to know if you need a friend while you're in this new area, Laramie. You can always chat with me. Any problem, chat with me, because you're staying in the accommodation they have there. And of course, invited Rodi over. After a few days, she came for Sunday lunch. And within a week, we decided that we were. Do I give the whole story, Rodi? She's here in the room, but. So after that week, I made up my mind that I would get married to her, and she made up her mind she'd get married to me. I told my mom and my dad I'll wait a year and for dating and they'd get married. And then after a few days after, I think a year too long, I said I think 6 months will be good. And then after that, and a few days after, I said no, 6 months too long, I think we better get engaged. And it was about a month or 2 after we had an official engagement called the pastors. My pastor, Pastor Lloyd Hart, did it. Her dad was a pastor, and he was also there with another minister, and we had a service. It's not like these young couple going in a place and proposing on their knees. They bruise their knees, and after that they're bruising their knees still to keep the marriage. What do you want to close the door? And so this is what happened after this. I know time is running out. I don't want to bore you, but then one day her mother heard that. I wonder if she gave that story. One day her mother heard that Rodi just won for 2 weeks, and 19 years old, she have a career. Now remember, she had always had some intelligent, high professional doctors and engineers proposing to her, good looking people, Christian people. So the mother said, you know, go on Laramie and you pick up somebody and you want to get married already? And the mother said, listen, pack your bags. We're going home. And the mother took her up to carry her home, and the story was, I think she gave the story, but how she asked her mother to stop just to say hello, bye to this friend. And the mother was angry. God bless her soul. She was my best mother-in-law, one mother-in-law, but she was a great mother-in-law. And really, all right. She just come to wave a little bit. And so she's in the room right here. You might hear her voice. and the mother said, how you could got two weeks in Laramie. And yes, the story going good. 2 weeks in Laramie, and you pick up a husband and you're ready to marry. And what friend you have to tell that you're leaving to go? And Rodi said it's the first time her father ever stood up to her mother. He said, Gloria, There's nothing wrong if Rudy wants to say bye to a friend. And the truth is that I was out there, I used to drive these big truck crane. And I think I was in the oil field carrying some equipment inside of by one of the rigs because we had contract for that. And so Rudy came in to get out a mom and a dad, and my parents invited them to sit down, and I wasn't there. And officially, my mother called Rudy in the kitchen one side after Rudy helped us serve appearance. And I proposed Rudy to Rudy on my behalf. What a good mother to have, because where Rudy used to live was in Mayo. Mayo was like, it was so far those days, 7 bridges that you had to cross the road to get to Mayo. It was like nobody ever heard about that place. And my mother said to her, Rudy, you know, Keith like you enough to get married. You like him enough to marry him. And she said yes, and that was it. So we both got married, and that was the life. Knowing each other after 1 day, 2 days, made a commitment. And he said, Pastor, that can't happen to everybody. I am not saying it could happen to everybody, but you must pursue somebody that who God set up for your life. You must pursue somebody who God ideally created and prepared for your life. Because God knows the type of person that you need to live with to be happy, to be complete in ministry. And I could say this, I am where I am, who I am, fulfill what I fulfill because not God only, but a good spouse that God provided for me. And we are 41 years. We went to, every year we travel and celebrate for the last number of years our anniversary. And I said to her, I'll carry her as far as we can go to enjoy. So we were able to go to France, we were able to go to Italy, and so Venice. And so we do travel a lot of places, London, Ireland. We travel and do enjoy our marriage and enjoy our relationship. Now that people wouldn't want to travel anymore, I'm so thankful that in our youth we enjoyed life, and in our old age we would still have pleasure with each other and pleasure in God. I pray today that those of you that are looking at this program, whether you're from Redemption Worship Center or not, that you will desire a good spouse, a spouse that will bring happiness and joy to your life, a spouse that you can look forward to go home to, a spouse that you would want to sit down and talk with all night, someone you would play with, you would sing with, you would have fun with, someone when they criticize you, you wouldn't be so thin-skinned that you can't take criticism, you feel your wife finding fault. No, she's not finding fault, or the husband not finding fault in you, but they want to see the best out of you. They're actually protecting you from a number of things. I pray today that marriage on a whole would be a glorious experience that you must have. For some reason, if you're married and the person wasn't the ideal that you thought was the person that you should marry, and you're saved, you could trust God that He could turn any relationship. And read good books. You could talk to us. Find out. In fact, even though you're married for 15, 20, 30 years, you could still do a marital assessment and look at the critical areas you all need to work on and put things in place to make that marriage beautiful, fruitful, and allow it to blossom. It is not how much money you have that will make your marriage happy. It is not how great your home is in terms of the luxury of the home that will make that marriage. It is not what a beautiful car that you could go and ride, have a drive in. Because me and Rodi, she'll get up even when it's 5 o'clock. She said, let me go for a drive. And we drive all in the country, drive all about slow down. And I sample doubles everywhere we stop off. And she buy plants. And so we have things that we do in common. But enjoy your life. Enjoy your marriage. Enjoy happiness. Because marriage was given for us on earth to find pleasure, to find company. Your best partner in partnership is not the person in your business partner or your work partner. The best partner you can have in life is a spouse. Father, I pray in the name of Jesus, God, that you would just bring joy and happiness and Lord, marriages that are there out right now, Lord, that you will cause them to blossom. You'll cause them to prosper. You will bless these marriages. You'll cause the couples to have an open hand, an open heart, that they can prepare for correction, for change, to be objective, to re-engineer and re-envision their marriage and their life. I pray even for the young people that wants to pursue relationship. God, that they will seek you for counsel and direction. They will allow you to bring the right person into their path. And the person that may not be the right person, God, may you remove them from their path. And I pray your blessing and your peace upon their life. I pray that marriages in Trinidad and Tobago and the world will be strong and strengthened in this time of this pandemic chaos that the world is experiencing. And if it means, Lord, that there is only bread and butter and a cup of tea that they have to drink in their home, God, they will bless it and they will say thank you and they will celebrate the joy of marriage. And I bless every couple in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, I'm so glad I shared this. Continue to pray for Rodi and encourage her so that we will see again on the Sunday. Remember, we have our live stream service with our worshipers from the sanctuary, 9 a.m. Join in with the entire family. I want to talk a little bit about how to walk into sonship and not servanthood or be a slave in this world. God bless you and do have a good day.